Wade, and
Shaq.
So when we was playing against LeBron, he was in Cleveland, so we kept playing him in the playoffs. They kept beating us in the playoffs like 3 straight years. But we're happy for him and everything like that. But the reason why I have a passion to come and speaking with y'all is a lot of different reasons. So I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was born in New York, born in Harlem, and I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma when I was young. And came from a single parent household. I don't know y'all's situations, but my situation was I came from a single parent household. And I always heard all of the negative statistics of people telling me that I wasn't going to be able to make it because I came from a single parent household. You know what I mean? So that was like something that really kind of anchored me as I was getting on, because we would have people like in a class like this. People come to speak to us, right? And they would spout off negative statistics. If you come from a single parent household, you're more likely to end up in jail, end up as a dropout, end up in a gang. All negativity, right? And as I got older, I kept hearing it. You know what I mean? I got to college, I kept hearing it. I got to the league, we go to different forums and things like that, and I kept hearing it. So there was one time in particular when I was at a big, like a panel discussion, right? So it was all these different athletes, all these different people, sports reporters, black scholars, everything like that. There was Spike Lee's panel. So afterwards, we all went to like this suite, and we was all talking. And it's interesting because I talk about this even a lot of times, because this is what really prompted me to want to talk to y'all and do this book on fatherhood, and do the CD on fatherhood that Calvin is also on. And they started talking about what was wrong with the youth today, right? So they was talking about, hair and the clothes and sagging pants and all hip hop, all this different stuff, right? So they're all giving out stats and everything. And then they got to the point of talking about there's no fathers in the home. So somebody who I respect, all the way respect, is Jim Brown. Y'all know Jim Brown, right?
Yep.
I've always respected him. He went to Syracuse. I went to Syracuse University. He went there. He was one of the athletes that I looked at kind of to want to, that stood up for what they believed in, all that stuff, didn't stay in the box, all of that, right? So he made this statement there and was like, repeating some of the statistics, like if you grow up in a home without a father, you're not going to make it in life. Well, I heard that, and it kind of struck a little nerve with me. You know what I mean? Because that's what I grew up with. I grew up in a single parent household. So I was like, Mr. Brown, I got to tell you, I respectfully disagree, because there's a lot of different situations where guys didn't have fathers in their home, and they were still successful. And I wanted to say, okay, somebody else is going to back me up. Because there's like 30 different guys, 30 different scholars, writers, Stephen A. Smith, all these different people, right? And nobody said nothing. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna back me up. I was like, all right, that's fine. I'll keep going on my own. I kept going. Now, Jim Brown's personality, anybody who knows Jim Brown, he don't really like when people disagree with him too much. You know what I mean? So he got a little bit offended, and we had a little exchange going back and forth, and he kind of dismissed it, kind of like, y'all young people think you know everything. And afterwards, I talked to him. I said, listen, I respect you. And he said, I respect you too. He was like, but if you really believe that, then you need to tell other young people that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing it. And that's what I'm going to keep doing. So then I wrote a book, right? I wrote a book called Fatherhood. And the reason why I wrote it is because, not because I think I'm some fatherhood expert or nothing like that. I got, 3 kids, I'm married, everything like that. Ain't no such thing as a fatherhood expert. But I did it because I wanted to do something that was inspirational for young people, so that they can combat all these negative statistics that people always tell them. So I got different guys that I played with, different guys that I met, played in the league. You know what I mean? I met a lot of different people. So I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kevin Durant, I was playing with Oklahoma City Thunder for a minute, and Joe Johnson and Al Horford, y'all know them, with Atlanta, so I was playing with them. Got Styles P and Kweli. So I got all these different people talking about how they came up. And I was kind of amazed at hearing all the different people's stories, because I didn't know, you don't really know somebody's story. You see them on the court or the field or something like that, but you don't know like the mountains they had to climb like to get there. So it became like this movement. So I would go different places, I would talk to different young people, inspire them, and tell them my story, tell them other people's stories, use the book, use the CD with a whole lot of different poets, and everybody's talking about fatherhood, because it's interesting. when I grew up, like I said, I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? Loved playing ball. Always, how many of y'all athletes? Oh, a lot of athletes. All right, cool. I loved playing ball when I was young, right? And I played AAU. Y'all have AAU still, right? All right, so I played AAU. So AAU was like a collection of all the different guys in the, coach would come up, put the guys together on the team they think are good and they would go compete, right? So I had homeboys on my AAU team, right? And all my age, just say all my age people that I played against from the time when I was younger, right? I can name 15 guys, 20 guys off the top of my head, just off the age group that I was playing against that should have made it to the NBA before me. I can name them. You ain't gonna never hear of them though, because they ain't never make it. That's my point. They didn't make it. They should have made it. They was better than me. I played 11 years in the NBA. They was way better than me. I have no problem saying that. And when I go back and I see some of them, you know what I mean? I talk to them, they know they was way better than me. It wasn't even close. But a lot of them made bad decisions, bad choices. I was blessed to play in the NBA. I wasn't somebody that was just nice like that all my life. You see some cats, they young, just nice. You know what I mean? That wasn't me. I was growing, you know what I mean? You kind of, when you're tall, you kind of got to catch up with your body, you know what I mean? It just wasn't working for a while. But then I kept working hard and getting better and found a little niche. I could, block shots, rebound, so, it got me through. But I wasn't just nice with it like that, shooting threes and all like some of the cats that I knew that when we was like in third grade. I wasn't. And so I used to see these cats. See, what would happen was the gangs I don't know how y'all gangs are out here, because every place is different. But when I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the gangs would come down from LA, right? And they would set up shop in little places like Oklahoma and Arkansas and Texas and Nebraska, and they would get the young cats to run their stuff for them. That's what they would do, right? So I had a whole lot of homeboys that was like, I had a homeboy that was Hoover Crip, Main Street Crip, Neighborhood Crip. My small forward, who was really good, he was like three sport athlete. His brother was the biggest blood in Tulsa. The biggest blood in Tulsa. And so all of them cats should have been to the league. All of them. And they're all bad stories. So I just did this youth conference back at home, right? And I go back with my AAU coach and I ask him about this person and this person, how's this person doing? And it's a lot of bad stories. Not all. Some guys got out, some guys changed their life around, stuff like that. A whole lot of cats is dead or in jail. And I'm like tired of seeing it because it don't have to be that way. Like it really don't. So there's people that want to give them statistics of how it has to be. You know what I mean? And a lot of cats fall into that trap and go that route, but you don't have to. Like you don't have to. And society is so much built up against us. You know what I mean? There's so many different mountains that cats have to climb. You gotta know it though. You gotta know all of the different pitfalls that are put out for you. And it's like, it's crazy because when I go and talk to cats, right? And I just did this youth summit in where I'm from in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So a guy that I played AAU with, his son was one of the people. And it was crazy because he looked just like him, right? Like just like him. And so I'm talking to him afterwards, and he was telling me how his father didn't want to come there because he was kind of embarrassed. You know what I mean? Because he was somebody that was real nice and should have made it, but he didn't make it. So he was kind of on an embarrassed type thing. And I was like, he didn't have a reason to be embarrassed because he's still doing good now. The fact that he's alive right now from what he was doing is a blessing. Do you know what I mean? Because now, the way this stuff is set up, the way it's so different, I mean, and it was like that before when I was growing up, but it's even to a more degree now. Tensions are so high right now. And y'all been following all the stuff that's going on in the news, right? Have y'all, like the Mike Brown situation, you know what Mike Brown is? Yeah. All right. That stuff happens all the time in Tulsa. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's brought to the forefront. You see it on TV and stuff like that. But I don't know how the police are down here, right? But in Tulsa, that happens all the time, right? So right now, the way that everything is set up, it's like you don't have any time for any foolishness. Because, like say for instance, there was a all-star quarterback. This just happened in Tulsa, right? This happened. all-star quarterback. He's go after a game. They have a rival game. They're at a different, like a store or whatever. They run into some of the rival people, right? They arguing, talking noise. You know what I mean? Just regular high school football stuff, right? So the police come, right? Tell everybody to stop, everybody to freeze, everybody to whatever, and they don't. So that alone, right there, caused the police just to start shooting. That's it. They was arguing. Nobody had no gun. They was athletes. They was just sitting there after the game and they was arguing, you know, talking noise, which what athletes do. So some of the guys got hit, some of the guys didn't, something like that. Nothing happened to the police. So what I'm saying, my point is that y'all gotta understand that y'all have to be all the way on point because society is gunning for y'all. Like if y'all go and steal a bag of chips, you know what I mean? Y'all not gonna get the affluenza. Remember that case with the little white boy? He did all this.